Well, hello everyone. Back to work on the Triumph. The front of the car had taken a bump on the bumpers and had shoved the front Valance mounting area back. And when I straightened the rear end, I took it outside and tied it to a tree. But it's too daggone hot out there. So I tied it off to my lifting post, stuffed a 2x4 down there at the bottom, and when I was pulling on it, the Valance was pulling plus stretching the fender area out. So I hooked a clamp to the bottom and wrapped a C-clamp around it and cut me a piece of oak, chamfered the edges, and made me a little pulling arrangement. And we got Tim there in the background. He's working on attaching parts to the motor transmission assembly. This was just before we'd set it in the frame. And here I've got tension on the come along, and of course supported at the bottom with the 2x4 and the clamp at the top. So I'm just pulling on that mounted area's boss and lots of little hammer taps to release the stress. And it wasn't moving, so I was attempting to use my propane torch, but the automatic igniter wouldn't ignite, so I had to go back get me a striker. But I'm warming it up around the formed area that makes the boss. Like I said, it's shoved in, and I'm using a propane because I don't really want it hot. I just want to warm it up. The molecules of the metal get in a stress point, and if you get it too hot, it relaxes, and now it's happy to be stressed, where it was when it was stressed. So if you warm it up, it tends to relax and wants to go back to where it was. And even the cooling process that it does as it cools down also relaxes it. So I warm it up a little bit, put a little tension on it, do lots of tapping, warm it up. I've got this speeded up a little bit. I worked in that area for probably about 15 minutes, but it come out well. It's a good process. And the bottom lip is somewhat distorted from all the collision and the straightening process. So I've got a duck-billed clamp on it, and it's squeezing it into shape and then tapping on the clamp, which also helped the metal to take a set. And here Tim and I are discussing something that I'm sure was vitally important. I haven't a clue what it was, but we worked it out. And as I coaxed the metal back into shape, the previous repair that was on it, which had a fair amount of Bondo in it, now the parts that they had covered up with Bondo, I've worked up flat, but I've got to get rid of the Bondo that was in the low portions so that I can continue to hammer it and work it flat. And once again, we've needed to have a little discussion, evaluate how the progress was doing, and I'm convincing him that it's all going to be alright in the end. Just got to make more noise. So the group consensus was a go, so on with making the more noise. I had one stubborn area there that I just couldn't quite get to come out, so I resorted to using the fibrous adjusting tool, a sawed-off piece of 2x4, and massaged it some more from the backside. And after repositioning my pulling arrangement to the lower portion of the hole to try to get what, if the car wasn't upside down, would be the upper portion of the boss, it still was sucked in some. So more of the same. Warm up the areas, massage them, let them cool, and repeat as necessary. And stepping back, taking a look at it, and pretty happy with the results. And here's the finished product. Pulled those raised areas out of the valance. They were shoved in quite a bit. This side here was more of the same, so I didn't film it. It did also come out pretty nice. Need a little bit of fill work, but I think we saved it. This is the next day, and sanding the epoxy primer around the areas that I've worked, wanting to give some tooth for the body filler, and also removing the scorched paint in case I've damaged it during the repair. It's pretty straightforward here. The metal come out really close. It's just a small amount of fill is going to be necessary to straighten it up. And since watching me sand body filler is not the most exciting thing, we'll speed this up and get to the end. And here's the finished product. It's all sanded, smoothed, feather edged, and now it's just ready for a coat of epoxy followed by some high build, and this area will be done. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did making it. Thank you.